Hello people, it's a secret anime fan and today's video is a review, discussion, recap, however you want to name it. Hey, let's go have all three of One Piece chapter 939. I'm going to be discussing the events, so expect spoilers. Okay, just before we start, I've got to show you some love for that cover page of Jinbei getting a haircut. I don't know, I just really liked it. Have you ever seen Jinbei smile like that? I don't know. But let's get to the chapter. So the chapter starts with Hyou talking about how she's Momonosuke's sister, just like the last chapter. Well, kind of. This chapter though is more on the funny side, or has some more funny elements, and I found it more enjoyable. Not because last chapter was bad or anything. It was just we all knew she was Momonosuke's sister, so it was just a little anticlimactic, but of course a necessary reveal. So when I heard it was going to drag on to this chapter, I was a little hesitant of I don't know of it taking up too much time maybe, but then I remember this is the manga, not the anime, and any thoughts of negativity went away. So Hayori says she took a gamble revealing to Zoro her identity, and all I was thinking was, you think? Not only did she take a big gamble, she had complete faith in the rumor, prophecy, whatever you want to call it, that the Kazuki family, the retainers, and all the allies and stuff, whatever you want to call them, Kinnaman and then all them lot, would in fact re-emerge around this time in the story. Sure, it was probably more than a rumor to her since she did actually see them get sent into the future, I think. But she was pretty young, so who knows? And she said that she heard the rumor, so who knows what her thought process is. Plus, it's been a long time. It's been 20 years. Anything could have happened during that time. She doesn't know what would happen to them. She's had a hard time herself, considering her job and things like that. Although it seems, as I said, she's not quite aware of what happened to her brother and the others. She was young at the time, so maybe she didn't know about devil fruits. Does she know about devil fruits? There's a lot of theories out there that Hayuri is now the current user of the Toki Toki no Mi. Maybe true, maybe not. There's also theories that she might have other devil fruits. So yeah. She actually says in this chapter that strong and kind samurai from across the seas would come to their aid. Now, was that part of the rumor revealed to us? I'm not actually sure. So, because I knew that people from Wano with the crescent moon tattoo would come to the aid, but I wasn't quite sure if he had learned, because I have the memory of a goldfish, that people from across the seas would come to the aid. So what have they got so far? They've got Luffy's crew, Law's crew, maybe Kid's crew, maybe some of the other supernovas, you never know. But is this foreshadowing that others are going to come to Wano? We've got the Minks, of course. We might see some other appearance from some big shot pirates, you never know. Big Mum and her crew. So maybe she is right. Although some of these may not be there to help them, they may in the end end up helping them. So Zoro confirms that he is in fact an ally of Momonosuke, and I must say I really like Hayori and Otoko's reaction. Very heartwarming. But the thing that kind of surprised me was Otoko, and I'm trying to say that name right. I get confused with Otoko and Otoko. But yeah, I'm surprised Otoko knew about the whole secret about Hayori's identity and so on. To trust a child with such a big secret doesn't seem like the most sensible idea, but she did literally just take a big gamble like 3 pages earlier, so maybe that's just how she rolls. Plus, we know Otoko is a bit of a blabbermouth when she says what comes to her mind, making the whole thing even more surprising and risky. Now, we do see Hayori basically say how she lost everything on that day 20 years ago. Yeah, 20 years ago. And I couldn't help but feel sorry for her. I enjoyed this more than the actual revelation that she was Hayori last chapter. This felt more impacting and the revelation that more impacting than the revelation. And I have no complaints about it. I only had minor complaints about the revelation last chapter just because we all knew she was Hayori. But I've already talked about that, so let's move on. We also learn the reason she didn't get sent into the future was to preserve the Kozuki line, and thank God it was finally explained. I was puzzled why she didn't send her along with Momonosuke and the others when she was literally surrounded by a raging fire and a burning building or castle, and had the option to safely get her child out safely via the Tokutoki no Mi. Luckily though, Kawamatsu was there to get her out, but I don't know if Kazuki Toki knew that Kawamatsu was around, so that's why I say it was a big risk. But yeah, lucky Kawamatsu was there to get her out of the burning castle. More on that in a second. I just want to briefly mention something. Is there a risk sending people into the future with the Toki no Mi? Because it seems the most logical choice to send Hyori with the rest, with like capable guardians, kindermen, and all that lot. Maybe there's no guarantee they would survive the time jump forward, or even survive when they came out on the other end. They might have came out into a river and drowned or something along the lines of that. There are so many thoughts going on in my head with the Toki no Mi. I've even got a video in the making. It might even already be out on my channel. But yeah, just I suppose it's the safe route. It would be the safe route if she wasn't surrounded by a burning building. But I don't know. It's got so many. Let me think of your thoughts. Is there a risk, and why do you think she didn't send Hyori in time, other than to preserve the line? Because it was a big risk to do that. Now, as I said, she did get saved by Kawamatsu, so all well that ends well. I can't speak properly today. Now let's talk about Kawamatsu. Seems like he is a Kappa, or identifies as a Kappa, which just reminds me of the Gintama episode. I think she said Kappas are like people that live in the sea, not a fisherman. It's like a yokai or mythical. I can't really remember, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Now my first thought was it was a devil fruit, but of course Kappas live in water. He's even seen swimming in water this chapter, so either we are seeing the first water related devil fruit, well, I suppose Monet and Okiji are water related, but I'm sure you get what I mean. A potential devil fruit user who is not or less affected by water, but of course this is unlikely. Now the most logical thought that should have come to my brain is that Kawamatsu is a fishman, and he most likely is one. Either that, or we are seeing a new clan or race introduced. Now big up Kawamatsu for providing Hyori with happiness for all those years. Seems like a great character, a great man, or a woman. He might be a woman, you never know, or she might be a woman. He also gave so much so Hyori would survive, going starving. Reminds me of the Bellamere story where she was starving so Nami and Nojiko could eat. Now it seems that they separated when Hyori was 13. Now comes the question, or one of the questions, why hasn't he dug a tunnel out of his prison cell? There must be a reason, sure. Maybe handcuffs would play a big part. Maybe he has too solid of a ground to dig a hole or a tunnel. Or maybe he's just biding his time till the return of the 9 sheaths, which of course he is one of them, and he's biding his time until the final battle. So Hyori asked if Neko Marushi and Inarashi, sorry, it's been a long time since I've thought of their names, are in Wano, and he basically says Neko Mashi, bloody I'm having a really hard time, may not be, but Inarashi is, and Hyori's face on page 7 when she finds out, pure gold. Now Zoro actually makes a fair point in this chapter that the news of the coded message being spread across Wano may not be all too bad in and of itself, but of course people being captured and their meeting place being revealed is certainly not. Now I can't remember if it's actually been revealed that their meeting place had been found out, but it looks like it has. So the coded message has well and truly been decoded. Now who is the traitor? As I said, last chapter, I think it was, I can't remember his name now, but I'll have to look, and you probably know who it is by now. The small guy who's always smiling, can't remember his name, but I think it's him. He's the one who decoded the message and is the traitor. And then we see Zoro quite funnily say, screw all this for now. I'm going to sleep, and that's what he does. Now, Oda has definitely done a good job of providing excitement for the reader for the eventual reunion of Hyori and Momonosuke and the rest, but it looks like she's going to wait until later to reunite until after the final battle. So we next see in the chapter, the next segment of the chapter, as I would put it, that a lot of the Kazuki family has been, or Kazuki family allies, you know what I mean by now, has been rounded up in Resetsu town, prison house, much to their protest, and there may even be a sense of distrust between the prisoners because it seems like some of them are protesting that they knew nothing about the rebellion, and one of the other ones says, basically, I think they think we ratted them out. It's basically what they said. Now here comes the most important part of the chapter. Whoever put their hands on my boy Beppo, Sachi and Penguin needs to get beaten up themselves immediately. A joke of course, but I do hope Law gets whoever beat them up. Now the actual most important part, or at least the most hype part for many, would we see Luffy is still in a deathmatch sumo match. Seems more like a deathmatch to me. And he's up against Armadillo Smile User and Alpaco Smile User Man. We see Luffy trying to level up his haki essentially, but he's getting nowhere. He gets nowhere. He's frustrated a bit. Side note, those two Smiles users look so goofy and silly. It's ridiculous. I'm kind of enjoying the goofy character designs in the Wano. Basically, and Luffy is using observation haki to make sure Hyou avoids their attacks. Man, what a useless old man. Some of you may think, but boy oh boy, was I wrong? And maybe some of you would think I was thinking it's pretty useless. Turns out Hyou knows the advanced level armament haki that Rayleigh did and Sentomaru, whom I must say, a lot of people forgot about that Sentomaru used that advanced haki. I will proudly say that I didn't, which seems a bit arrogant. I don't want to come across arrogant. But a lot of people say, no, he didn't use the same kind of haki. But I don't blame people for that. That was just my speculation. I don't want to come across cocky, just having a little laugh. So Hyou gives haki the name of Goken. Sounds like Goku a little bit. And it was definitely epic when he used it to KO Alpaca Man, as I'm going to call him. Now, why don't these two Smile users have haki? You'd think that they would. They don't seem like scrubs, or they don't seem like weird, like bottom of the barrel of the Kaido crew. They may be pretty low. You'd think they would display haki, but yet they displayed no haki at all. Maybe they just think Kaido is so strong and his crew's so strong, the upper echelon is so strong they don't need to learn haki. But you'd think in the new world you'd have haki. You'd at least have a little bit of haki. Luffy's haki is probably a lot better, and by the looks of it, Hyou's haki, or some of his haki, is better as well. Now, why does Hyou not have all kinds of haki? Is what I was wondering. And I'm sure many of you are the same. I know we pretty much assumed that he would know, or he would teach Luffy this next level of haki. But as I said, it's interesting he doesn't know any kind of haki, or maybe he does. If so, why the hell isn't he using it? Especially this armament haki, why didn't he use it from the start? Of course, that's not how the story works. Oda had to build it up to reveal it. You can't just have him know the haki straight off the bat. So props to Oda for that. And that's pretty much it for this video. Please like and subscribe and see ya. I do anime reviews on my channel, One Piece theories. I might do other theories from other anime. I do character stories from anime. I do One Piece at the moment, Dragon Ball. I've got some from Dragon Ball. I know I do this every time. I say goodbye and see ya, and then I add this bit at the end. I do that by accident. Anyway, see ya.